What's going on, Philly fans? It's your boy Philly Day One, and we got some pretty concerning news when it comes to some injuries, very early injuries. Um, we're gonna talk about those injuries, man. Get into my thoughts. It might not be as bad as I think they are, but we only got a little bit of information, and I will let you know what that is in the video. Jordan Mailata spoke on the AJ Brown situation, the AJ Brown trade. And yeah, as Jordan Mailata was, man, we had a video. We're gonna show the video, but as Jordan Mailata was, he was very mild about it. You know, Jordan Mailata is somebody who would say that AJ Brown is a great teammate, um, and he seems like not super sad about it. He don't seem happy about it, but he don't seem super sad about it. And he does make a good point at the end of the video. At the end of the video, he took he at the interview. So he also speaks on Uar Bernard. He speaks on him. Maybe he got a couple of pass rush reps against the kid, and he had really good things to say. Really good things to say. AJ Brown finally breaks silence. And I know I was one of the people who was saying that it wasn't Nick Sirianni so much. I mean, it wasn't Jalen Hurts so much. It was Nick Sirianni. Um, and he is a crazy twist to what is going on. Now he didn't dive into details, but he did confirm that him and Jalen Hurts are not as cool as they once was. So I got that video. We're gonna show that as well. Uh, I have two sources and who trying to break this thing down for me. The first source is Craig Cartoon Show, where he kind of breaks down exactly what was happening to where they fell apart a little bit. And Lord Bronson, and I think Lord Bronson, he's never said anything that was wrong that I know of. If y'all know, let me know. Drop him in the comments. But he's never said anything that I know of was wrong. And Lord Bronson's source, which he did not name the source, but I have a really good idea who this source is. Lord Bronson's source was talking of conversations and some of the actions that AJ Brown was trying to get done while in the locker room, and mainly trying to sabotage Jalen Hurts. Crazy, crazy. This is gonna be a crazy video, man. Y'all stay tuned. Um, we have Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins shared his mindset, and I think Philly fans' mindset when we come off an athlete like AJ Brown, when we got an athlete like AJ Brown, and we have to let him go. Our mindsets are kind of the same when it comes. That's probably why Brian Dawkins is so loved throughout all of Philly, is because of his mindset embodies what Philadelphia is, man. It embodies the team, it embodies the city. And we got that video right here. Last. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts don't look bothered by this. He's out there trying. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's got bigger fish to fry. In each video I see Jalen Hurts in, he's enjoying the process of the things that's going on. Not as far as the AJ Brown thing. When he brings it up, he's smiling about it, and it's one of those things where he's got stuff on his mind. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Makai Lemon has a hamstring injury. I know, man. I know. One of the most annoying injuries of football, man. That maybe turf toe. But Makai Lemon has a hamstring injury. He was shown limping. He wasn't at practice today. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't, engaging in activity. Just somewhere he was around, with the football and limping through practice. So I believe that this opens up opportunity for some of the receivers coming in, the Darius Coopers, the Danny Grays, those kind of guys. I think it opens up opportunities for those guys to come in and get valuable reps, a little trust with the quarterback. I'm not saying that they're gonna come in and just take Makai Lemon's spot, but this could really add this could help them get on this team. I think Devontae Wicks is a lock for one of these spots. Devontae Wicks is somebody who came from the Green Bay Packers, so I know he's a lock for one of these wide receiver spots, and he could be one of the guys who's getting the most most time at the spot. Anyway, um, Jordan Mailata, and Jordan Mailata spoke on the AJ Brown situation, and
standing next to Kill.
What are your thoughts on AJ getting traded?
It's a business, man. Sadly, we've done a lot of stuff together, on this team for the last 4 years, and this is just the business, and we've got to move on.
Do you kind of talked about for a while? Are you guys kind of glad that this now just finally happened and you guys can all move on?
I think we kind of I think yes, we can move on now. I think most of us that have been here the last 6 weeks, we have moved on we have enough to worry about.
One of the things that I noticed, man, he said we've already moved on. We've already moved on. We're focused on the job at hand, and that is trying to repeat another championship. And I love that part. I love that part of what Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni brings to the football team as far as everybody, how people soak up the information, how people take on the identity of the quarterback and the coach. There's some things I do not like about Nick Sirianni. Overall, he tends to motivate men. And I think that's the biggest thing, man. You got to motivate some grown men. And he do that very, very well. He need to keep his hands off the offense, but he does that very, very well. One thing that Jordan Mailata also said, I don't have the video for that, but he also said he had a chance to get mixed up with Usar Bernard. And one of the things he said, he's freakishly strong, freakishly fast, and he's just not of this world. When this kid figure it out, man, and it could be a year from now. It could be a year from now, and it could be a year after that. And he could figure it out this season. But because we have him, man, and because he's developing, he don't even take up a roster spot. So, man, I got to give him, man, 2 years, 3 max, and to kind of figure out this position, man, because he can be so special. Moving on, man. Let's go into the AJ Brown thing. AJ Brown finally broke silence. Yeah, he talked about Jalen Hurts and his relationship. I can't remember who the girl name was who did the interview, but we're gonna run the tape now.
Not as close as we once were, and I believe that's fine. It's like there's no bad blood. There's actually still a lot of love. I love him. I love him to death. I want him to succeed and accomplish all the things that he wants to accomplish. I didn't.
You know what? That seems so genuine. We just grow apart, but it feels like something is missing. It feels like something is missing, and I after seeing that, I saw that before I even saw Craig Cartoon Show and Lord Bronson. Before I saw all of this stuff, I saw that, and I said, Well, maybe they just grew apart because Jalen Hurts mentioned in his press conference that they did have a conversation from the end of the season. At the end of the season, they had a conversation, and he didn't go into what the conversation was about. But you don't think it was going to be a bad conversation at the end of the season. But after hearing these guys, and I will play Craig, Craig cartoon show first, and then we'll hear what Lord Bronson has to say. So
there was a problem in the Eagle locker room between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. And yes, it involves a woman, but not exactly how these stories typically go. Unbeknownst to A.J. Brown at the time, I guess, Hassan Reddick's banging the same girl he's banging, but they're both banging the girl on the side. Apparently, A.J. Brown finds out about it, and he goes to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, according to the story that's now out in public that we're reading from, was too interested in football.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get involved in some dopey, nonsensical love triangle because it negatively impacts our attempt to win a Super Bowl. Somehow, A.J. Brown viewed Jalen Hurts as not being a good guy because he's concentrating on trying to win a Super Bowl and doesn't want to get involved or stick up for A.J. Brown and tell Hassan Reddick to stop banging A.J. Brown's side piece.
if this is what this is about, shame on you, AJ Brown. Shame on you. You knew this man was about football, all about football. He has a couple of other things that he dabbles in, but he is all about football. And you made it seem like we, or the reason why you were coming for him so hard, was because you wanted the team to be better. Yeah, we struggled. We struggled the last 2 years in offense. Yes. And the year before that, we struggled. But that was a personal, because you don't like that this man rather plays football than get involved in a triangle. I hope that this is not the case. If it is the case, yes, I'm glad you're gone. When you come to work, you at work. You come to work or all that stuff, you at work, bro. If you can't separate the two, yes, I'm glad you're gone. I'm glad none of this stuff. I know a lot of people are mad that a lot of this stuff is coming out now. I'm glad none of this stuff came out now because we probably would still have AJ Brown. Let me hear Lord Bronson and what he said about AJ Brown and the interaction between him and Jalen Hurts. He has a source in which he did not specify the name of the source, but he has a source who was telling him this, I guess via text. I'm sorry, via text. He's telling him, and
he also told me that Jeffrey Lurie, Howie, and Nick didn't like Jalen, and they told him if Jalen didn't perform well last season, he would be traded. So some of them BS games and bad effort was a sabotage to Jalen, so he thought. What really ticked him off was when Lurie, Howie, and Nick started openly defending and showing Jalen support. That's when he told his agent to look for a trade after the Rams game. Requesting a trade after week 4, come on. We didn't want to believe it. He told me that Jalen takes all the credit when it's a team. Man, I got mad stories to tell you, and he would be telling me stuff, you know what I'm saying, while I was around him. In all my years of being around people of this caliber, I've never had one that hated a teammate how he hated Jalen. He used to get frustrated when I didn't agree, and I would try to tell him to straighten that out. Because it's not about football. Allegedly, from my source to y'all. Listen, I would never lie about nothing like this, bro. You can speak about it, but leave me out of it, please. Of course.
Okay. Now, before I say who I think this source is, that's crazy. To that magnitude, look, man. He went off to say, we watched the video together. He went off to say he has nothing but love for Jalen Hurts. He wants him to have everything he wants in life. He's like, maybe he's saying this just to say it because he feels like that's what he should be saying. But to set your brother, the dude you're supposed to be so close, you've been in this man's house, to set him up to look bad, to be traded. I'm so glad that none of this stuff came out. We would be stuck with AJ Brown. If all of this stuff is true, we will be stuck with AJ Brown. I'm so glad that none of this stuff came out. Howie Roseman and the PR teams for the Philadelphia Eagles did a great job of throwing cover on all of this stuff, because this would have been what we had to deal with. He's making 30 something thousand. We're gonna save $50 million on AJ Brown. $50 million we're gonna save on AJ Brown. We want to save that because he'd stay with us. Don't nobody want that on their team. Nobody wants to have to deal with that. And to the source that Lord Bronson was pertaining to, he said no names. Let me clear that up. He said no names. It sounds like Smitty. I don't know Smitty personally, but from what we've seen of Smitty, what we've heard from Smitty, when he said, oh man, I just don't like this dude, you got to get up off of that. Smitty is the kind of person who will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And he said he would get frustrated with me when I did not agree with him. That's Smitty to a T. To a T. I don't think that's Darius Slay. I'm sorry, Darius. I'm sorry. Big play Slay. I don't think that's Slay. Nobody else. I think that is Smitty. Smitty is not just going to let you say whatever you want to say. He's not going to let you go with something you don't want to go. Y'all remember that clip where AJ Brown was like, hey, man, just go and put a Band-Aid on it. I think he cut his toe or something like that. He was like, oh, go and just put a Band-Aid on it, and we can doctor this thing up when we get back in the locker room. And the lady was trying to like spray peroxide on it to stop the bleeding and stuff. He was just like, oh, no, don't do that. You're going to make it burn. And Smitty was like, man, that's to stop the bleeding. You know, Smitty's he's that kind of teammate. Even when he first got there and he was just like, hey, that gun, you're going to aggravate the bruise. That's a bruise. That gun going to aggravate the bruise. Just keep it moving. Just, keep moving. And they was like, oh, you learned that from Bama? Smitty's that kind of person to speak up. Now, he don't do it loud, but he's the kind of person that speak up. This feels like Smitty to me. And I'm just giving my opinion. That feels like Smitty to me. Moving on. And then listen to how Smitty does when AJ Brown conversations come up. Check this out.
Devontae, what were your thoughts when you saw the trade become official yesterday?
I mean, business is business. I don't got no say so in that.
What's most about AJ?
I mean, just the relationship we had, the brotherhood and things like that. Some things you look back and we had a good time here. We had a great time here. The things that we did, things we accomplished on the field, off the field. You always cherish those moments.
How do you think?
Are you glad that the trade happened yesterday? Now that it can finally be, it's been talked about for a while now.
That don't have nothing to do with me.
What's the next step?
He is really off-putting. Now, he's very supportive because he went to the man's wedding and all that stuff, but he's really off-putting. You know what I'm saying? And he's been like this for a while. I think he was at the softball game or something like that. Somebody asked him, and he was just like, I ain't got nothing to do with me. And it was just like that. He's been with the same kind of stuff all season long, to the point that where I think WIP was it WIP or Ellen? It was one of the guys, one of the Philly medias that was like, I think it's so messed up. Oh, it was Anthony DeBona. He said, I think it's so messed up that AJ Brown leaves it up to his teammates to ask questions answer questions about him, knowing that nobody's supposed to say nothing. So let's get on, man. Let's get on. Brian Dawkins talked about the AJ Brown trade, and he expressed something that I think Philadelphia fans can agree with. This is why Brian Dawkins is so loved in this city, man.
What are your emotions when you see such a great player leaving the Eagles?
Well, I obviously saddened because he's an extreme talent, but at the same time, like I always put myself in the shoes as a player, and when it's who comes in that door is who I'm going to war with. If you're no longer coming in that door, and now you have on a different color jersey, then you become the individual I'm going to probably try my best to be hitting, right? So that's my mindset. But again, I understand it. I understand they won the Super Bowl here, and he's had I think 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4 years.
Fabulous 4 years. But at the same time, when you then get into the situation that it seemed that the organization and him got into, the best thing was to split.
Point blank, period. Point blank, period. No, we don't want to give up an extraordinary athlete, but if we have to part ways, we still worry about the people here. The goal's still the goal. We're trying to get to the championship. If you're on the other side, have fun over there. But when it comes time to play you, we want nothing but the worst for you. When it's time to play and y'all got to get on the same field, we want nothing but the worst for you. And I speak for I feel confident to speak for every Philadelphia Eagles fan. We won't even know what you're doing in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months, we won't even know what you're doing. We ain't gonna care. We trying to play football. All right. Jalen Hurts is not bothered by any of this stuff. He looks the happiest he's ever been. In almost every shot, you see him smiling. You know what I'm saying? He's stretching, and he's always working. He's hosting throwing meets with wide receivers, and you got Mekhi Lemon who's dropping down now. Devontae Smith will be there, and he's hosting these things, so the chemistry will be right. He is leading men. He's got one goal on his mind. I think somebody referenced Kobe Bryant to Shaq as like Jalen Hurts being Kobe Bryant and AJ Brown being Shaq. When they parted ways, Kobe felt like he had to go get more championships to prove everybody I'm him. And maybe Jalen Hurts feel that same way. Maybe he feel the same way. And I wouldn't put it past him if he give us the best season he's ever put down on the field. So I'm not worried about Jalen by no means. But all of this stuff coming out, it just it put a little sour taste in my mouth with AJ Brown, man. So that's all I got, man. Like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications on so y'all stop missing these videos. And we out. Let's go, Birds.